shall be my sons and daughters, said the Lord Almighty. So this is God's word. Come out. God doesn't want us to associate with those who are in apostasy. He doesn't want us to be contaminated. He doesn't want us to participate in that apostasy. And that's why he is actually gathering his people out. Now, what happens if we decide to remain? You think we can remain pure by associating with the corrupt? According to 6 BC 1102, it is impossible. It says here, it is impossible for you to unite with those who are corrupt and still remain pure. What fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness, and what concord hath Christ with Belial? God and Christ and the heavenly host would have man know that if he unites with the corrupt, he will become corrupt. That's it. By beholding, you will become changed. That's why God is actually calling you. That's what Paul said. Come out from among them and be separate. Okay? Now, but some will say, no, but my church is not in apostasy. My church is very, what's that? They will say that my church is in
conservative.
Conservative. They will say, oh, my church is conservative. We're okay. Well, is that okay? It says here, if the heart of the work becomes corrupt, if the leadership is bad, even though you are not, you're not doing apostasy, you could still be a partaker because you are in one umbrella. It says here, if the heart of the work becomes corrupt, the whole church in its various branches and interests scattered abroad over the face of the earth suffers in consequence. They will be contaminated because they are one in one organization. There is what we call corporate responsibility. Even if you don't sin, you don't commit the sin, but you become partakers because you are included, you are part of it. And that's why the final call, God has given us this final call. It says here in 7 BC 979, God has a controversy with the churches of today. They are fulfilling the prophecy of John. All nations have drunk, of the wine of the wrath of our fornication. They have divorced themselves from God. They have not the spirit of God's true commandment keeping people. And that's why the final warning is given to us, which is found in Revelation 18, 4 and 5. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. This is the final call. This is the loud cry that needs to be preached before the close of probation. And I hope that we hear this warning, and that's why we are here. We still have the faith of the Seventh-day Adventists because we keep the seventh-day Sabbath. We are waiting for the coming of Christ, but we don't associate with a denomination because of the apostasy. It's not that we don't exercise the faith. We still have. We are still keeping the Sabbath. We are still keeping it properly because some churches today, even though they are Seventh-day Adventists, but they don't really keep the proper way of keeping the Sabbath. And so we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we want to serve the Lord so that when he comes, he will take us home to heaven. This ends my study, and I hope and pray that we learn a lot of things regarding the history of the Adventists and the Protestants.